Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Health and Wellness Show here on COARadio.com. I am your host, Maryann Castello, and we have a very terrific show this evening, something we've never brought to you before. And we have our very special guests in studio. We have Vincent Balestrieri, we have Brandon Sierchio, and Nick Balestrieri from AMP. And we're going to find out exactly what that means. And we will be with them in just a few minutes. So I have to talk about this because I think it was the greatest thing City of Angels has put on by far. And that is our very own engineer, Art Ackerman, had our walk run with the Angels this past weekend. And it was the return of Rockfest, I might add. Yep. It was so successful, so beautiful, beautiful venue for all of those who came out and supported City of Angels. Thank you so very much. It was 2 days of really great things. I mean, on Friday, you kicked it off with the free community picnic that honored all of our dedicated volunteers, community partners, and sponsors. And there was all kinds of food, and there was even entertainment by the Jim Del Rey Band and Nikki Breyer.
It was a pretty good night, man.
That was a pretty good night. It was fantastic, Art. Absolutely. And on Saturday, it was we had the walk run, and there was, like, you guys had every amenity going. You had hydration stations, you had post-race refreshments, you had T-shirts out there, prizes.
Pizza. We had pizza.
And
Pizza. Gotta have pizza.
But one thing that I thought was incredible for people who might have seen it online already, but you also even had members of the military that showed up. Would you like to share what happened there, Art?
That is, actually, we lost Justin Capiello, who is a paratrooper, 2 weeks ago, I think. So his parents had just, you know what I mean, buried him last week. And his father is a reserve para ranger, and asked he asked his commander if he could have 5 or 6 guys to come to the run and do that run with full ruck on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they sent the whole battalion.
Wow.
When you see it on the
was a lot of
videos,
them,
you get the chills watching it. It was
Yeah.
incredible. Absolutely incredible.
They posed in front of the stage, man. There had to have been 60 or 70 of them.
Really?
You know what I mean,
Wow.
altogether. And they had full ruck packs on. So they hiked down and ran back.
Wow.
I don't know how they did it, man.
That is amazing.
Very
They were the
impressive.
first ones back.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
conditioned.
Yeah.
The rest of us, well, you know, not so sure. But it was a great event and very successful. And then
Great.
at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you kicked off Rockfest. And let me tell you, you had that stage rocking. I mean, the light show was phenomenal. Stephen Kelly, the sound guy, and Desiree as well with the light show. They did a phenomenal job. And it was a great lineup of music. I mean, you had Jim Gavin, you had Patricia and the Saltier Motives. You had our very own Ryche Chlanda and Flying Dreams.
Yep.
Yes.
And then you had Vinny Mad Dog Lopez and the Wonderful Winos. That was great. And then you had AM Mafia, Unleashed, Charles Larita and the Mischief. And he had a great horn section in that band. That was fantastic.
Yeah, they are pretty good.
And then you had Soraya, who rocked it out right at the end as well. And then,
I saw all the end of it from Rich on in video.
well, we hope that you're feeling better. We know that you're feeling a little under the weather.
Yeah.
Because you work really hard and you don't stop.
I need a couple of weeks to regroup.
It takes a lot of work to do that stuff. I mean, from the tents to oh my God, to staging.
But you had great food trucks there, by the way.
Yeah, it was like a year planning that whole thing.
Yeah, I know it was.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you did it. I'm glad you decided to do it because it came off really great. You know, so.
What I thought was great with the food trucks, like you had Kona Ice, which was like great, and then you had the Ritas, like the Jimmy Ices.
Well,
the
we had
Rita
to have Kendall stay. He wouldn't
Kendall
stay
wouldn't
without
stay
Kona
without Kona
Ice.
Ice.
without Kona Ice. And then you had other trucks, but the one that stood out because of the title, probably because I'm Italian, is Wanna Pizza This.
Oh, is that what it was called?
Yeah.
I don't even know what that guy was called.
It was great.
It was good pizza.
He was a last-minute addition, you know, because, I don't know, we just didn't think we had enough food trucks and stuff.
Let me tell you, between Maryann, Tony Luke, and me, we slammed 4 pizzas down.
Did you really?
Yeah.
They were good.
And, yeah, we're good. So.
They were
Well,
really
you had
good.
that brick oven thing, right, built in.
No, they were great. No,
It
they
was
were
good.
great.
Right in the truck. But this
So what
the
happened to
title.
all that food that I catered in the green room?
Yeah, no, that was great.
That kind of went too, and the hot dogs were good too.
Oh.
I have to say that they were. But you really had a great chance for the families to come together too, because you had the balloon release, not only at the walk run, but you also had it at Rockfest as well. And that was just a moment that was so serene that when you see those balloons released and understand what they resemble, it's very chilling. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
I was covered in goosebumps and all. It's really
it
emotional.
puts this epidemic in perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really did. Absolutely. And the families that are affected. So, as you can tell, we're getting a live call. And if you want to be part of the show, you can do so by calling 609-241-7103. And if we can have that caller just hold for a few seconds, because I want to introduce our musical director, Ryche, Chlanda, for this evening.
Hello.
And you are there. And then
How's it
we
going?
have...
Maryann, you look very beautiful tonight.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
You very much appreciated.
You do.
I'm recovering from Rockfest.
We'll be right with you.
Yes. No, you look great. So,
Yes.
ready to rock.
And then we have engineer Art Ackerman.
Oh.
Yay.
Good morning.
You're so good. But most of all, because I know that you're going to have busy callers, and we're all here together. He is a school psychologist, a board-certified behavior analyst with over 10 years of experience providing educational and clinical services for individuals with developmental disabilities in both the public and private sectors. He's also an American Council and Exercise Certified Professional Trainer. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Vincent Balestrieri. And then next we have a registered behavior technician and pre-vocational instructor at a private school for learners with autism. He helps prepare students for opportunities in the workforce by targeting technical, social, and navigational skills necessary to be a successful employee. He also has experience providing home-based clinical services for individuals with autism. Let's welcome Brandon Sierchio. Woo! And last but not least, he's a certified functional range conditioning cross-level 1 and USA weightlifting trainer who works with athletes to improve speed, agility, strength, and conditioning. He also worked as a paraprofessional in both a private school for children with developmental delays and home-based clinical settings where he assisted in developing individualized fitness programs for clients with physical challenges. Let's welcome to the show, Nick Balestrieri.
Thank you. Thank you.
And all of these gentlemen are here for their company. It's called AMP. And if anybody doesn't know what AMP is, it stands for the Autism Movement Project. And we are so happy to have you guys on the show. It's our first show on autism, so thank you so much for
Thank
being
you
here.
for having
Thank
us.
Really, it's terrific. And I'm just going to get right to it because autism is a big subject. So, Vin, I'm going to start with you, okay? And for people who are listening and might not know what the responsibilities are of a behavior analyst, can you explain exactly what you do?
In the clinical context, what we do, it's a lot of working with children and adults with developmental disabilities. And we're basically using the science of behaviorism to set up treatment programs to improve the quality of life of our clients, or in our case, our athletes. And what that can mean a lot of times is kind of decreasing challenging behaviors, so like aggression, self-injury, things of that nature. But it can also mean teaching skills. So for us, it's teaching physical fitness, social skills, sports-related skills, the rules of games, things like that, and breaking it down in a way that it's teachable for the athletes. But also taking a look at what variables can we manipulate ahead of time to set our athletes up for success, or if we're working clinically, what environmental variables can we manipulate to help them learn skills that they need, adaptive skills that they might need to be successful in life. And then also looking at, after an athlete performs a skill or a behavior that we want to increase or decrease, how do we respond to that afterward to make sure we're increasing positive behaviors and decreasing challenging ones?
Okay. That was a mouthful. I hope I remember that. But you know what? I appreciate the detailed
Yeah,
information. I really do. And I'm going to be asking questions to each of you,
Sure.
About what you're doing. But one thing I want to bring right to the forefront, right at the beginning of the show, is the story of AMP. And the existence of AMP is a unique story. And in fact, it's a Cinderella story. That's what I'm hearing about
Yes.
this. And I'd love for you to share with our audience
Sure.
what AMP is about and what exactly the Cinderella story is.
All right, so before I answer that, it's kind of There's two parts to it. It's unique how we came upon fusing the science of behavior analysis with a fitness and sports program, but also the way we got this whole thing started, like you said, is a Cinderella story, and just in the sense that the three of us worked, we all work in education. We love what we do. Obviously, don't make a ton of money. We didn't have a lot of money to start this up. We had previously run a fitness and sports program. I used to have a private practice, and Nick and Brandon worked with us. When I closed the practice, it was in high demand, and I didn't realize it when the practice was open, but once we closed, parents kind of contacted me and said, could you just do the sports and fitness thing again? And at that point, I had said to my wife, I said, look, if I start another business, I want to go all in on something I love doing. The parents obviously loved it. The kids loved it, and they really became interested in sports when they may not have been previously. And it seemed to me as an employer that the staff loved it, and it was my favorite part of the clinical practice. So Brandon and I started working on the clinical side of things. Nick kind of came in because he's our fitness guru, and we worked on kind of fusing those things together to create a program that would impact children positively and would help out the community. But so we had no disposable income. We couldn't even really afford to take a loan. And we basically went around to local gyms and said, look, we have a program that's in high demand in the community. We're really excited about it. We know we can build a client base and make it successful, but we basically don't have money to pay you rent. So if we run the program here and give you a percentage of our revenue, would you consider that? And basically everybody,
Yeah, right.
in the nicest way that you could, tell us to get lost, told us to get lost. And so we finally found a place in Wall Township called the Sports Center. The owner knew my brother. He has a ton of sports accolades at the local high school, so they connected. He said, fine, I'll do it. Give me 30% of what you make. And the deal was, look, you're not going to make money up front, but we know this works, so you're going to make a lot of money on the back end. And so where I probably should have just said, oh my God, this is great, you're the first person to agree to this insane deal, I said to him, well, how about 20%? And he said, all right, fine, deal. I'll give you, and he said, I'll give you 6 months. So we kind of got together as a group and said, look, we need to make a big chunk up front. Let's sell session packages. This way, they could buy a 6, 12, or 24 pack, give us the money up front, and we'll ration it out for the year. But prior to that, like I said, Nick was a track and football star in high school. So he has a lot of people who ask him, hey, can you do speed and agility training with my son? I want to improve his 40 time. He plays football.
Nice.
So Nick was training athletes, high school athletes, at a public park, which I won't mention because you're technically supposed to register with the town and pay them, if you're doing training there. And I said to him, look, based on the private practice days, we're going to need about $1,000 for a liability insurance policy. And I said, you think you can hit that, with a summer of training? So he said, yeah, I got it. So we hit the 1,000, got the insurance policy. We formed the LLC ourselves. We couldn't afford, attorney fees. I was familiar with some of the jargon from when I had the practice. They Venmo'd me $40 each to file the paperwork with the state, and that's kind of how it was born. We had,
Wow.
I want to say, 4 athletes sign up initially, and it was enough to get us going. And there were ups and downs. I mean, we only opened our doors last September, so there's been ups and downs. We've had months where, no prospective clients are calling, and then, one day we'll get 10 phone calls.
Right.
So it's very up and down. But now it's consistent. We've probably quadrupled our client base.
Wow.
Yeah, we have,
Right.
I want to say
Yeah.
16 now,
I think
right?
it's about 16 solid right now.
Yeah, and a bunch on deck.
Wow, it's great.
If we can keep it going and keep the cost affordable for the families, it would be a dream come true. And like I said, a
Yeah.
Cinderella story, 100%.
That's great.
That's fantastic. And you know what? It just shows that when you have drive and compassion,
Yeah.
that you can accomplish anything
Yeah.
you want. And I'm going to get to your goal that you said, yes, I can do it. And he's over here nodding as you're talking. But for those of you just tuning in to the Health and Wellness Show here on COARadio.com, you can call and talk to these three individuals and myself and Rich and Art and the whole show at 609-241-7103 and become part of the show. Now, one thing I do want to get to, because I want people to be able to do this during the show, is that you have a very unique business model in the fact that you want to be able to sell merchandise to
Yes.
help subsidize
Yep.
some of this. And I see that all three of you are wearing your AMP T-shirts. I absolutely love this logo. Can you tell people why you're doing this, how you came up with this idea, and where they can find them?
Well, in the clinical practice, we were, networked with insurance companies. We kind of didn't want to get into that. Typically, an insurance company, even though we're using applied behavior analysis to do what we're doing, they're not going to approve a treatment plan just to send a child to a fitness and sports program. It would have to come with the whole treatment package, the home, therapy, all that stuff. And we kind of just wanted to zero in on sports and fitness. And we knew it was going to be tough because a lot of the children that we work with are already receiving a lot of therapies. So maybe occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech, OT. So we didn't want to have really high membership rates, but we also knew it's not going to be one guy teaching a CrossFit class of 30 people where you can kind of generate profit. We knew some kids were going to need one-to-one support, a very high level of care. So we kind of said right off the bat, we have to come up with other revenue streams, whether it be public speaking and kind of like training people to do what we do. But we also thought of selling merchandise. So we kind of built our website through Shopify, put our T-shirts, hoodies, tank tops, fitness apparel on there, and we're kind of hoping that it goes viral so that we can keep the program funded. And actually, I didn't mention this before, but I wanted to. Just the name of the company. When we were talking about it being a Cinderella story, a lot of people helped us just because they loved what we were doing. We couldn't pay them. We would have loved to pay them. They didn't want the money. They just wanted to be part of this. So even the name and the logo, my wife works for an advertising agency, and her close friend is one of the creative directors there. So we initially wanted to call it AMP because of how much marketing you could do with that, but it was called something different. It was actually called a missing piece, and that was a reference to the puzzle piece that's associated with autism. And she said, "No offense, your guy's name stinks."
Yeah.
And
Nothing like a woman telling you that.
Yeah, and
Like, all right, make it better.
right. And the tough thing with owning a business is knowing, all right, when do I yield to other professionals versus say, hey, well, this is my thing, I'm doing it my way. And I think we were just all on board when she came up with Autism Movement Project and designed the logo for us. We were like, oh my God, that just blows what we had out of the water, and we changed it immediately. But even that, something like that, like that's what's printed on our merchandise, and we think it looks beautiful. But that's not our creation, and that's somebody out of the kindness of their heart because they believe in the service that we're providing. Just
what that is?
helping us out.
Behind every good man is a better woman.
That's right.
That is my motto, and I'm sticking to
That's
it. These
right.
guys know it. See the looks they give each other?
Yeah.
But they listened to the advice. See, there's a difference here. I have to say that. I'm so sorry. I had to. Absolutely.
It's true.
Now, do you guys have a physical location that you do all this training at?
Yeah, we're operating out of St. Denis in Manasquan right now. Like I said, we started at the Sports Center. We're very grateful for what they did for us. And where we were training there was a small space with low ceilings, and we really feel that sports are a very important part of what we do. And we can get into that later because there's a lot of clinical relevance to why we focus on team sports. But we kind of outgrew it. We were getting more clients. We were sharing the space with other trainers. And we were limited on what sports we could play with lower ceilings. They were probably like 7 or 8 foot ceilings. and we met with the Manasquan Rec Department. They were able to give us a great rate, almost similar to what we were paying for the other spot. And we made the move right away, and now we have a whole gym that we use. There's bleachers, parents stay and watch the program while the training's going on. It's really nice.
So for people that aren't familiar with Manasquan, do you have a street address for them?
Yeah, it's 90 Union Ave in Manasquan.
Manasquan.
Manasquan's not that big.
Nah,
No, I
it's
know.
like a mile.
And
You can
where
find it.
can they find your website and to find these wonderful shirts and merch that you're trying to sell?
They would go to ampfitnj.com, click shop, and then all the merchandise is right there: hats, shirts, gym bags.
Okay, and we have somebody that's actually calling into the show. Good evening. Hello, you are welcome to the Health and Wellness Show. I'm Maryann, your show host. Thank you so much for calling. And you are live on the air. Who is this?
Hi, my name is Kathy, and I have a question for, I believe the gentleman's name is Vinny.
Okay, go ahead. Vinny's right next to me.
Go ahead.
Oh, hi, Vinny. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Thank you, first of all, for taking my call. I wanted to know about your program. I heard you say something about the behavioral aspect of dealing with a child with autism, but I wanted to know how does your program in working with clients in a gym setting, how do you transform that to them having perhaps more confidence or better social skills? Is that really one of the goals of your program? And does it give a child with autism more motivation, confidence, or help them in general life skills?
I think that the hope for our program is that the clinical skills that we're targeting generalize to other settings. I think socially speaking, sports is a great equalizer, especially for boys. Most of our athletes are boys, and when you know about sports, can play sports out on the playground in phys ed, when you're just hanging out with your friends, it's a big social equalizer. So I think it does build confidence in that regard, and that some of these athletes who we're working with might not have had any prior knowledge of playing sports. They might have had challenging behaviors that limited their parents from involving them in a sports program. So now they're going back to school or out in the community and joining challenger leagues or recreation leagues through their township, and they're able to hang and keep up with their peers. So it's definitely a huge equalizer to know sports, especially when you're a boy or a teenager.
Yeah, I think that sounds great. That's what has me excited listening to this, because that's really breaking down a barrier. Maybe a child with autism is isolated and isn't able to integrate with other students, but with working with you now can. And that's very exciting to me, and I thank you for that.
Thank you.
It's giving hope to people that need to improve their social skills. So that's
Yes.
great.
Thanks.
Kathy, thank you
Sure, the
so
inclusion.
much. Yeah, it is. And I just want to take a moment to say thank you so much for calling into the Health and Wellness Show and being part of the show. And if you'd like, we could send you a prize, and that could be one of my new DVDs, Extreme Chakra Cleansing for a Supercharged Life. And if you would go ahead and you can send me an email, I don't know if you have pen and paper there, with your personal information, I'd be more than happy to send one to you.
Okay, great. Go ahead.
It is Maryann, it's MARYANN, and it's Neozoe, it's NEOSZOE.com.
Great. That's great. It sounds like this is a great program, and I'm so glad you're doing the show, because I wasn't aware of it. Appreciate it so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you so
Kathy.
much for calling in.
Okay, bye-bye now.
Bye-bye. Now, this leads to our sponsors, because we do have sponsors for the show. And the first one is Neozoe Health and Wellness Center in Cranford, New Jersey. Neozoe is a very unique holistic wellness company recognizing the interconnection of body, mind, spirit, and the importance of creating complete wellness in a nurturing and comforting environment. Neozoe, creating new life through balanced living, using nutrition, massage, and so much more. You can visit them at the web at www.neozoe, that's neoscoe.com. So you guys had your first caller.
It's great.
Guys are so amped up.
Great.
But we can take a commercial break just for a moment because I want to come back with our special guests. I want to be able to talk to Brandon and Nick as well, waiting patiently on the sidelines, and I'd love to hear from you guys too. So we'll be right back. Be sure to stay tuned. Are you constantly living with dysfunction in your life? If so, there's help. Neo Zoe, New Life Through Balanced Living, is a very unique holistic wellness company that's here to help you preserve a healthy balance and eliminate any dysfunction. We use an individual approach through nutrition, massage, and various other holistic practices. You can restore your optimal health and a healthy lifestyle. Visit us on the web at neozoe.com or call us at 732-713-0123.
If addiction, pain disorders, and mental health issues control your life, and you are ready for change, Recovery Spot offers expert outpatient care for addiction, pain disorders, and mental health issues. We offer focused, high-quality treatment specifically designed for you. Recovery Spot, we offer new hope for those suffering from pain and addiction. www.recoveryspotny.com. We're located in New York City.
Hello and welcome back to the Health and Wellness Show. I'm Maryann Castello, your show host, and we are here tonight with Vin Balestrieri. I hope I got this right.
You
and then we have his brother Nick Balestrieri and Brandon Sierchio here from AMP. And if you'd like to call in and join the show just like Kathy did, you can call us at 609-241-7103. And my next question, Brandon, is for you.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I do realize that Vin here is a behavior analyst, but you're a behavior technician.
Yes.
Can you tell us what the difference is?
Yes. So, it's a registered behavior technician is the professional term for it, and basically what it is in behavior analytical settings. Vinny would come in, and as the behavior analyst, he would develop behavior plans and write goals for whatever student, athlete, client that we'd be working with as a team, and then really it's kind of up to the RBTs, and usually there's more than one that kind of implements those programs, whether it's in the home, in a residential facility, in a school. So you really follow the lead of the behavior analyst, and it's important to make sure that you are on the same page, lots of communication, so that because as a behavior analyst, he may have other clients where he's not there all the time. The RBT is the one who's going to be in the home or at school seeing the student every single day. So that communication is important to relay information back and forth so Vin can make changes if necessary, and then just establish that relationship so you can work together positively for who you're serving.
Now, from what I was reading up about you, you have home-based clinical services that you provide. What are those services?
So I actually don't work in the home setting anymore. I did for probably about 5 years. One was with Vinny with his previous practice, and as he said before, he has his clinical practice, and that was in the home. That was doing goals in the home, daily living skills, academic skills, and then the sports part was kind of our on the side thing that we got to do. But yeah, so I did that for a few years, and but now I am actually back in school as well. So I had to take some time off from that to do, and I'm actually following Vin's footsteps to be a behavior analyst as well. So I had to take some time off to pursue that goal.
Well, that's a good thing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So in school, are you learning new techniques?
Yeah, you know what it really is I've been working with individuals with autism for about 10 years now. And when you first get in there, it's a lot of jargon. You start hearing terms that you've never heard before. And if anybody listening knows behavior analysis, a lot of the terms were made up, to be discriminable from everyday terms.
Right.
So they're really, unless you're familiar with it, you're not going to know the terms. So coming in fresh to a school, you're like, well, what are they talking about? I don't even know what this word is. And but as you kind of grow in that environment, you start to learn things. And now what I'm really putting together is, through my schooling, is really getting the principles and the properties behind some of those terms and understanding why they're applied, in schools or in homes, or, why we even use some of the strategies we use to make sure our athletes are successful. So it's really been helpful for me.
So I'm really curious. Can you give us one term that we might not know?
Well, one term is that, if anybody knows, like I said, B.F. Skinner, and he coined the term, and it's manding. And what manding is now, could you tell me what manding meant if I just said?
No.
Right. So manding is derived from the word demand. So I
Ah.
demand something. So, and in behavior analysis, it's requesting. So a lot of our, learners, athletes, have communication deficits that we're trying to increase, as Vinny said before. So manding is really where is kind of the groundwork you lay for communication, where just a simple thing is requesting, can I use the bathroom, or can you help me, and a lot of times it's just one word with some learners. So that's one term that maybe you hadn't heard before.
No, we have to add that to our dictionary
There
here
you-
at City
yeah,
of Angels
yeah.
Health and Wellness, because in our dictionary, we have acronyms. Like mine's PETA, short for pain in the, So you got to really, sit there and know who you're talking to, your
Sure.
audience
Of
here.
course, right.
Okay.
Right.
I want to know what Riches is going to be.
Yeah, do you have a term for rich? See, I'm putting him on the spot.
It's up to you to nickname me.
Oh, I thought Maryann was going to nickname.
Oh, okay, well,
Well, I have, but I can't share it on the air.
look under the table, Maryann.
Absolutely. Good evening. My name is Maryann, the show host of the Health and Wellness Show here on COARadio.com, and you are live on the air. Who is this?
Yes, hi, my name is Lynn.
Hi,
I'm
Lynn.
just walking away from the cast because I couldn't hear. Sorry.
You should
I'm
turn your
sorry. My
computer
name
down.
is Lynn.
Yeah, I just need you to turn your computer down if you can, because we are.
Yeah, I walked away from it.
Thank you, because there's a delay and it's hard to
Yep,
hear.
I noticed.
That's okay, Lynn. So thank you so much for calling the show. And we are sitting here with our three gentlemen from AMP. Do you have a question for them?
Yeah, I was wondering, I had noticed that they were saying that they work with children, and I was wondering if there's age limits, and also, do they work with adults as well?
Anybody?
Yeah. Yes. Thanks for your call, Lynn. And yes, we do. We have on our website, we have it listed as 10 years and older. That is subject to change, though, depending on the individual, just like our program. We try to individualize everything. So if we have, a 9-year-old or an 8-year-old, as we've had in the past, that is able to, work through our program and be successful, and we think that we can see improvement, then we're all for it, having them. But we don't want to just say yes to everybody and lose the integrity of what the athlete is getting with us. With that being said, also, we take adults as well. Actually, a lot of our clients are, late teens into their early to mid-20s. So the answer to your question is yes, we do service, adults as well.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear. I have a neighbor who I was talking to recently about some different programs, and I feel like it's something that she might really be interested in. I'm definitely going to fill her in on it.
That would be wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, and you guys seem to be doing a wonderful job. Good luck with it.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lynn, for calling the Health and Wellness Show. Thank you.
Have a wonderful night. Thank you.
Too. Bye-bye. It's good to know that there's different age groups and all. But also, I was on your site for people that might want to check out your services. First of all, what is your website address?
The website is ampfitnj.com. That's ampfitnj.com.
Okay, and that's how they could find all the information. And folks, don't forget to hit the shop tab when you get to ampfitnj.com. So this way, the selling of the merchandise that they're talking about, and you'll see this on our YouTube link as you're, watching on radio, haha, that they have their AMP shirts on right now, and they're really well done. And you could be a part of the project, and that's the idea, is to become part of the awareness, too, for autism, but also to help the Cinderella story have a very happy ending.
By the way, they are great shirts.
They really are.
Yeah,
And people can see them
Thank
live
you.
because I do have one live camera.
Where are?
All right.
Where could they find that live camera?
If you go to coaradio.com, you'll see the YouTube right on the right-hand bar.
Oh, okay.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Because I'm going to look.
It'll hit you in the face when you get there.
I'm going to look at myself right now.
That's okay.
Maryann, can I add one more thing real quick?
Absolutely.
So I find that when we speak to prospective parents of our athletes, that a lot of them kind of have questions of like what it looks like, and it's kind of a lot of parents with children with disabilities and autism specifically get nervous sometimes about new situations. So I always point them in the direction of our Facebook page because we include a lot of videos and a lot of pictures, and it kind of gives them a sense of what they're walking into, and they can even share that with some of the kids. It helps decrease anxiety before they arrive, and I think it really contributes to the athletes being successful and also the parents' peace of mind as well. So,
And is that the AMP Sports and Fitness?
yes, it is AMP Sports and Fitness on Facebook. So,
Perfect. And
definitely.
you're also on Instagram too, right?
Yes, we are on Instagram as well under the same name. Is that right, Nick?
The Instagram is amp_sports and fitness.
There you go.
Perfect. Thank you. And you guys are popular tonight. We have another caller. Good evening. Welcome to the Health and Wellness Show. I'm Maryann, your show host, and you are live on the air. Who are we speaking to?
My name is Donna,
Hi, Donna.
and I have a question for all of them. My nephew has Asperger's. He's a high-functioning young adult, but he has very little social skills. Do you have anything in the Somerset County area?
We don't, unfortunately, no. I think maybe, we've always been really big on providing a high level of care, like I said earlier, and we really, truly would not run the program if we couldn't run it with integrity. So I would love to say that down the road, if we continue to grow this, would we open up other locations? Yes, but only if we could provide the service in the same way that we're providing it now, which would mean a lot of training and oversight for prospective employees. So would we like to go that route? Absolutely, but only if we can do it without compromising the integrity of the program. And there's a lot of people, a lot of companies out there that are kind of capitalizing on the fact that since I think it was 2010 or 2012, New Jersey passed a law where insurance companies have to cover ABA services for autism. So there's a lot of companies out there taking on a ton of clients, making tons of money, and not really providing a great service. And when we had the clinical practice, the goal was always to keep our caseload small, but our service high, and that's the same principles that we've carried over to this company. So I don't know if that answers your question, but yes, we'd love to be in the Somerset area as long as the program is being run the right way.
Okay. I appreciate your help, and I also want to let you know that I'm one of those volunteers that would be more than happy to help you because I think what you're doing is wonderful.
Thank you.
Aw,
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Donna.
Thank you.
That's really wonderful. And if you send me your personal information at Maryann@neozoe.com, Donna, I will be sure to pass it on to these great gentlemen here. And I thank you so much for stepping up to the plate. That's really good to hear.
Thank you very much, and thank you again, guys, for all that you're doing for autism.
Okay, thank
Thank
you
you,
so
Donna.
much, Donna. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thanks.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.
So that leads us to another sponsor, and that sponsor is our very own Ryche, Chlanda and Flying Dreams.
Thank you.
They are a progressive rock band featuring world-renowned musicians, Ryche, Chlanda. We also have Ron Beanstalk. We have Kendall Scott and Jade Didymo. And you have a couple shows that we'll talk about coming up, but I think you have an unplugged show this Friday night.
I do. I have an unplugged show in Chester, New Jersey at the Public House and we'll be talking about things, talking about music and life and that. And it's from 7:30 to 11 at the Public House in Chester, New Jersey. So come and see
We'll have to
me
come down there. When is that?
this Friday, 21st September.
September 21st. And
That's just
also,
outside of Bordentown, I think, isn't it?
No, That's up,
Chesterfield.
Chesterfield.
That's
So I
up.
went to the wrong place.
that's up New Jersey.
I've been like, where's Rich?
Right. And then also on Thursday, October 4th, you will be in New York City, I believe, at the Shrine.
At the Shrine, yep. So that's a
That's-
8 o'clock show, I believe.
And that's a Sonic Voyage Festival, correct?
It's a festival, Sonic Void. So we'll be on at 8 o'clock
Okay.
for an hour, and then
And then we will get to the rest of the shows later in the show. But if you want to follow Rich Chlanda and Flying Dreams, you could do so by going to their website at www.richchlanda.flyingdreams.com. And Rich spells his name RYCHECHLANDA, flyingdreams.com. And if you're looking for booking or press information, you could contact his manager, Ann Rinaldi, at anna@acrmanagement.com. So thank you for being a sponsor of the show
and
as
thank
well.
you for all the plugs.
Oh, you're so welcome. So, getting on to our next guest here. He's waiting so patiently. And I know that you're very much into sports. And what I found out is you currently hold records in the 55, 100, and 200 meter sprints at the Manasquan High School. I don't know if
That's
that's still
me.
current.
Yep.
You are a 2-time state place winner in the 55 meter.
Wow.
And you were also a Central Jersey Group 2 state champion.
Keep going. My head's getting bigger.
Well, now I
Keep
want
going.
you to take it up and tell me more about you because you obviously have
How
a
long
lot of
have they been
accolades.
standing? Let's
They're still standing. I graduated in 2009, and
Wow,
to
that's
my
awesome.
knowledge, they're still there.
Wow, that's awesome.
great.
Yeah.
Had a close call recently, though.
We did have a close this year, yeah.
Was that our race?
Well, we do have another caller. So you're live on the air on the Health and Wellness Show. I'm Maryann Castello, your show host. Who is this?
Hi, this is Mike up in Boston, Massachusetts.
Hi, Mike. How are you doing?
I am doing excellent. I'm actually hanging out in an Autism Movement Project shirt right now.
All right. You're
Nice,
rocking that.
nice.
Huh? And how did you get that shirt?
I got this shirt by ordering it online. I have actually known Vinny and Nikki for a number of years now.
That's one.
But one thing I didn't fully understand was how the clothing is helping to fund the Autism Movement Project. So I was hoping they could share a little bit of information on that.
That's a great question, Mike.
You want me to? Yeah. So basically, we're hoping that the sales from the clothing help us keep prices down for the families. What's been happening is even though we've been, like we mentioned before, we've quadrupled our client base, but we still are kind of breaking even, and the profit margin is limited. So the plan is through other revenue streams to make money because we don't want to have to get to the point where we have to raise rates in order to stay afloat. So that's why it's so important for anyone who likes what we're doing and appreciates what we're bringing to the community to go to our site and order the apparel. We are a for-profit company, and I think a lot of times people associate that with that we're greedy because we're not a nonprofit. But it's not the case. We first and foremost want to just keep the cost low for the families, and like I said, we work education jobs. Yes, we need to make a few bucks extra on the side, but really the main reason for the apparel is to keep the cost down for the families.
Thank you for that.
Yep.
I will say I do love my apparel, and I will certainly be recommending it to others.
Thanks,
Absolutely.
Donnie.
And thank you for wearing that apparel and calling the show and letting us know that you have some apparel.
Yep, it's great. Everyone should jump on there. You should tell them the website as well.
Which one
I
did you
forget
get?
it.
Out of curiosity, which shirt did you get? Is it the black one with the green, the white? The
I have
gray?
I have a white one with like a nice little mint green on the front. It is sleeveless to show off all the working out I've been doing.
Because you're amped up. I love it. It's great. Absolutely
Have
love
a
it.
great one, guys.
All right,
Good
thank you
job,
so
everyone.
much.
Mike.
Thanks.
Thanks, Mike, for
Bye.
calling the show. So with that, because he sounds like he's into fitness, I'm getting right back to you, Nick.
He is
And-
not into fitness.
Oh, really?
He lied.
So he cut the shirt sleeves off for no reason?
He did, yeah. I don't know. Well, no.
No, he ordered the tank top, but tell
Yeah.
him about the Instagram.
He cut the sleeves off to
Oh,
fit his
man.
arms in.
Ah, good
no.
one.
He bought. We have like tank tops, like beach tanks.
Oh,
He
okay.
bought one of those. We actually showed him off on our Instagram, and He doesn't have a six-pack. He has a keg.
Oh, wow.
But he still looks good. Thank you, Mike.
Call him back.
He's retracting.
Oh, we have another caller. Thank you so much for calling Health and Wellness. I'm Maryann Castello, and you're live on the air. Who are we speaking to this evening?
Hi, my name is Bob.
Hi, Bob. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Do you have a question for our three gentlemen here from AMP?
Yes, I do. I think what you guys are doing is a great job. My question is, how long is each session, and what activities are your clients doing when they're there?
Great question.
So our sessions are on on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 p.m. and Saturday mornings from 9 to 10. And sessions are 1 hour, and they're broken down. We do a little dynamic warm-up in the beginning. Then we do some relay races and some kind of cardio with the athletes. Then we get into our circuit workout, and we like to end it with specific sports and games. A lot of times we break it down to teach the prerequisite skills to be successful in it. And then there's a lot of built-in breaks also, just for water, who needs to use the bathroom and stuff like that. So.
Wow. Now, Bob brings up a great question. Now, you have a rate schedule. Do you have packages, or do people have to buy contracts, or is there sign-up fees, things like that?
There's no contracts. It's month to month. We started out with the session packages, like I said, but the income was very inconsistent. We had some athletes buying session packages and showing up every time, some taking weeks off, which that was their right to do. But it was just, we couldn't take on employees and invest in other things to make the program better, because one month we'd make like $2,000 and then another month we'd make like $100. So there wasn't a steady cash flow to be able to predict, all right, now we can take on one employee. And so we wanted to be able to do that. I think initially the session packages were also done with good intentions. Sometimes our athletes are having a really bad day. Maybe they're having some behavioral challenges, and we didn't really want people to feel stress or pressure to have to come every time. But when we made the rate schedule, we kind of factored in, all right, well, how much is it going to be if they come once a week? How much would it be per session if they come twice a week? So we wanted to make that fair. So we still feel like even though you're paying month to month, it's fair. You're not locked into a contract more than a month. You can take a break if you need to. Athletes' families sign a waiver, and that's a liability waiver that you'd sign at any gym. They sign permission for us to use photos on our social media accounts, but that's it. There's no contracts, nothing like that. They're not locked into anything. They can leave whenever they want. And we work with our families. If somebody, is a great fit and then they start to regress behaviorally, we've refunded, partial memberships and sessions and things like that. We really are not here to stress out the families of the children that we're working with. We want to enrich their lives as well. So we're more than flexible as far as how we work with the families that come to the program.
Yeah.
Wow. Does that answer your question, Bob?
Yes, it does, and I think the guys are doing a great job.
Well, I thank you so much for taking the time, Bob, to call the show and be a part of it. So thank you so much, and it was a great question.
No problem. Have a great night.
You too.
Thanks,
Thank
Bob.
you.
Bye.
Wow.
Nice.
Well, that caller is going to lead me to another sponsor of our health and wellness show this evening, and that is the Recovery Spot New York. They're innovating recovery with cutting-edge addiction treatment and outpatient recovery for drugs and alcohol, offering state-of-the-art medical approaches combined with personalized treatment. They are physician-owned by Dr. Ramesh Sawhney and Dr. Scott Bienenfeld. It's a wonderful facility, and they are operated by them as well. It's the Recovery Spot, innovating recovery. You can visit them on the web at www.recoveryspotny.com, or you can call them at 866-677-6869.
Let me jump in. I could really feel, because I'm a musician, so I feel things. There's a lot of love going on here for what you do, man. And that's where it's coming from, right? I mean, it's coming from. It's well, you know.
Absolutely.
Well, I want to see the brotherly love right here, because you said he was your brother, and you said, "Oh, look at this, they're hugging now." Great. Now, with your track record, you said it was almost in trouble, your record that you held.
It was. I
Look at
I have to follow up with it. So I follow the high school sports, and I see, who from my high school might have a shot.
Right.
And this year there was one kid, I forgot his name totally, but he was pretty close, but no cigar. Not
the
this
cigar.
year.
You're still the reigning champion
Still
over
got
here.
the title.
How
That's
old
pretty
was the
good, though,
record?
man.
Which
The
one?
ones you broke, weren't they old?
The one record, I think it was about 40 years old. Yeah.
Wow,
Wow.
that's amazing.
Wow.
So maybe it'll stand for another 40.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Well, this brings me to my point that you are a certified functional range conditioning. I'm not sure how that's said. What does that mean?
So that is a very that's a very unique certification that I got through an old job of mine. I was working at a physical therapy company, and they asked me to get this certification to help them out and to help out the athletes that I was training. So basically, what that does is it allows me to teach people to meet their end ranges of motion with their joints and increase their mobility and flexibility. So that's what that is.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I wouldn't have guessed that. I
Yeah.
would have had no idea.
Sounds a lot fancier than it is. It's actually very cool. It's very cool, and it was very interesting to learn about.
So let me ask you a question. When somebody comes in to see you and you're doing this training, and I've worked with people with autism before, and the children, and sometimes the attention span can be very short,
Right.
okay? When somebody comes into you and works with you, do you go over certain different exercises, or how does your program work when you're training and doing
In terms of the FRC or just in general?
both?
The FRC is geared more towards the sports performance program.
Okay.
That, like you said, the attention span can be difficult to work with, and that's something where you really need to have their attention and focus. But as far as the program goes, that's where Vin would come in on the clinical aspect of things, because where I know all of these personal training methods, Vin will come in and he'll implement certain ways to teach these movements where I could just say to you, hey, do a squat. He could have an autistic athlete who couldn't necessarily pick up on what I was saying like you would, and maybe give them a target to sit to or something
Physical
like that.
guidance.
Yeah, physical guidance.
Yeah. So when we have athletes come in, if they have communication deficits, that could be one of two things. It could be expressive communication, meaning they can't tell you what they want or need, or receptive communication, which is basically just understanding language. So we're trying to assess those skills when they come in. We don't have a formal intake process, and that's kind of because we want the program to feel like a sports program that you would send a non-disabled child to. So a lot of clinical and even social skills programs have a thorough intake process, and rightfully so. There's a lot to know about the kids that we're working with, but we wanted to have the feel of a non-disabled program. So with that said, when kids come in for their first session, Brandon and I are right off the bat assessing, okay, how well can they communicate? What are their physical limitations? How are we going to program around that? And the thing is, there's some things that we can work around, or that we have to work around, because there's certain barriers we may not be able to break, and there's other things skills we'll look at and say, all right, we can strengthen that skill. We just have to meet him where he's at.
Right.
But I think what Nick's talking about is on the receptive side of things. For a squat, for example, like he said, you might say, if you're training someone in sports performance, you could say put your feet shoulder width apart, squat down to 90 degrees, a little past 90 degrees. And when you get to that point, come back up and repeat it. Keep your weight in your heels. I mean, so that's so much language. And for somebody who doesn't understand that much language,
Right.
sometimes it's just a simple do this. And a lot of times we'll ask parents when they call up and want to know about the program, is can he imitate? If I say do this, can he do it? And if they say yes, they can participate, because a big concern of prospective families is, my son or daughter has limited communication. Can you accommodate them? And the answer is yes, we can. But so that's where Brandon and I's clinical skills come in, because we might figure out, all right, do we need to use visual cues to teach this child how to hit a baseball? or can we say do this and they'll copy us if we just provide a visual model. So it's all that that's where the behavior analysis component comes in breaking down skills, breaking down sports, meeting individual athletes where they're at, and then building on their skills from there.
Well, what's good about this is because you said if people can imitate or do this and do that, Rich, you and I can join these programs because we could do that. They could just look at us, say, do this. Don't tell us something. You were with us before the show. You know how we work. So, I'm all fooling aside. It's something that we could do, right, Art?
Sure.
See?
You guys are in. Come on Saturday. We'll see you there.
It'll be like a game of Simon Says for us to do that. But it's really a unique approach, and that's why I was asking you, Nick, because working with children of autism, sometimes they cannot, you're telling them to do one thing, but they're not understanding it that way, and it turns into something else. At least that's been my experience, So do you have one-on-one class? Is it one-on-one, or do you have ratio 1 to 4?
It's not one-on-one, and we usually tell parents up front that we can't guarantee it. Now, when we have a session and we figure out what staff we have for that session, we start with, all right, who needs the most intensive supports? Who are our strongest staff members to work with them? So it kind of trickles down from there. But I wouldn't say that the kids who are more independent or who need less support are neglected. We just figure out a way to group the athletes at each circuit or each station in a way that they're all going to get attention and be successful, but also have the individualized supports for the athletes who need it. But that, again, goes back to why people need to buy the merchandise, because the more they buy, the more we can spend on maybe one day being able to guarantee, if your child needs one-to-one support, they'll definitely get it.
And tell us again how we can get that merchandise.
You go to ampfitnj.com, click shop, and it's all there. Shirts, hoodies, tank tops. We just put the soft T-shirts up recently.
Yeah.
And
comfy.
Yeah.
Comfy.
And the hats, the trucker hats.
Oh, that's great. Well, we do have another caller. You are live on the Health and Wellness Show. I'm Maryann. Who is this? Hello? Caller, are you there?
Hello, you're on the air.
Hi, this is Barbara.
Hi, Barbara. I'm Maryann, the host of the Health and Wellness Show. How are you this evening?
Wait a minute. I have to move up.
Yeah, you need to
Hi,
not
can
listen to
you
your
hear me
computer.
now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Just need to turn your computer off.
Okay, I'm Vinny and Nikki Dan,
Ah, okay.
and I also work in education, and I have a friend who has a child with autism, and I've suggested the program to her, but she tells me that her child is reluctant to come. Is there any suggestions that they can offer that I could give her to persuade the child to come to the program?
Any of you?
Yeah, so, we've had similar experiences with some of our athletes. If it's a matter of, getting them to actually leave their home, I would suggest, and I think Vinny would back me up on this, is offering some sort of incentive, some sort of reward for, to coming to our program. And they don't even necessarily have to work out the entire time and do all the exercises. A lot of times when we get a student or an athlete who's reluctant to work out with us in the building, a lot of times we let them just hang out for the first 25 minutes, let them walk around, let them get used to the surroundings, the noises, the smells, the temperature, everything. And then, we'll approach them and not say, do 10 jumping jacks. It's like, hey, how are you? Spark up some conversation. Even if they're not reciprocal with the conversation, knowing that you're there to comfort them, to help them, that you're not a threat, and slowly working yourself, into a relationship with them. And then we kind of build on that and gradually fade in more exercise, and there's less time spent not exercising. But as far as, getting in the house, I would offer, some sort of reward that they really like. Hey, you go to this fitness program, and if they understand the concept of time, you can set a timer. They can come and just meet us and then come back another time, and you can keep that reward in place, going forward until maybe they have some success and they're not so reluctant, and maybe they come with a lesser reward or not as often. So that's what I would suggest.
I think that's great advice, and I will certainly pass that information along to her and hope that you'll have a new client.
Thanks, Aunt Barb.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much,
Thank
Aunt
you.
Barb. Exactly.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
The other thing I wanted to say, just to add to what Brandon said, is the most successful athletes we have and the most supportive families bring their children every week, even if it's initially a non-preferred activity, because most people don't prefer to do things that they don't do well. So it's really common for a lot of our athletes to initially not like coming. And then once their skills improve and they build a relationship with the staff and with their peers, like Brandon said, we see that a lot of our athletes take an interest in sports. They enjoy coming. They look forward to it. But there's a lot of families who will bring their child to 1 or 2 sessions and say, he really doesn't like it, and kind of give up on it. And if it was a few months down the road, I'd say, okay, that's fine.
Right.
But definitely give it some time because it takes a while. We had an athlete come to us recently who was really anxious. He sat out the whole first session. The second session, it was maybe, can you just give us 10 jumping jacks at the jumping jack station, like Brandon said. And we're gradually increasing that. And when we talked about before that we like having great relationships with our families, the site says the first session is free, but we've gone beyond the first free trial. If parents are unsure, if we're unsure, if a child's a good fit for the program, and said, look, just bring them for a few more weeks. Don't sign up for a membership yet. Yep. Make sure that it's a good fit first. So we work with the families in that regard, in that we realize that change is hard for non-disabled individuals. So for individuals with special needs, it's even more difficult. So we realize that one free trial sometimes isn't enough to see if it's the right fit for you.
That's right.
Right. You have to give everything a chance,
And I think last week was his first full session. He
Oh, wonderful.
did every part of
So he's
the
improving.
training.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, we've done in the past where we've had athletes who maybe they don't like the fitness circuit. We don't want them to completely avoid the fitness circuit. So we'll say to mom, hey, bring him a half hour in. We'll have him do the last station, and then we'll get right into the sports, which is what he likes. And then we'll gradually decrease that time, then bring them 25 minutes in, then 20, then 15. Before you know it, they're doing the whole session, and things are going great. And and when we were doing session packages and things like that would come up, we would say, look, we're only going to charge you a half a session until he's coming for the full hour.
Right.
So
Oh, that's fair.
it goes back to what I said, is that we're interested in providing a great service at an affordable cost, not just making money. So
Well,
it's
that's
important to
Yes,
us.
absolutely.
Yeah, we're going to get back to this wonderful conversation about AMP. And right now, I'd like to take a commercial break and listen to our sponsors. We'll be right back. Are you constantly living with dysfunction in your life? If so, there's help. Neo Zoe, New Life Through Balanced Living, is a very unique holistic wellness company that's here to help you preserve a healthy balance and eliminate any dysfunction. We use an individual approach through nutrition, massage, and various other holistic practices. You can restore your optimal health and a healthy lifestyle. Visit us on the web at neozoe.com or call us at 732-713-0123.
If addiction, pain disorders, and mental health issues control your life, and you're ready for change, Recovery Spot offers expert outpatient care for addiction, pain disorders, and mental health issues. We offer focused, high-quality treatment specifically designed for you. Recovery Spot, we offer new hope for those suffering from pain and addiction. www.recoveryspotny.com. We're located in New York City.
Hi, I'm Michael Chicolini, author, actor, interpretive dancer, owner of a 2005 Buick Skylark, and you're listening to City of Angels Recovery Radio.
God, I absolutely love that with Michael Chicolini. He was great when he was on the show. And I just love
Owner
that.
of a 2005.
I love that. We told him, go ahead, say something about yourself. And Michael Chicolini is the author of The Pasta Family. And he was also played the villain in Beethoven's Three.
Oh, God.
So it was great. Absolutely great. But welcome back to the Health and Wellness Show. I am your host, Maryann Castello. And you could join the show by calling us at 609-241-7103. So I'd love to get back to you, Nick. Okay, we heard about all your accolades and things like that, right? But I also read, and I don't know if you still currently do it, but we're a paraprofessional as well.
Still a paraprofessional.
You are.
yes. Yep.
And for folks at home who may not know what a paraprofessional is or does, can you explain that?
Well, for me, I'm through an outsourcing company where they will match me up one-on-one with a particular student, and I will basically just provide them in-class support and help them with academically and sometimes behaviorally as well.
So do you shadow them actually in the classroom?
Yes.
And for people that aren't familiar, I am, because I'm understanding about autism, but paraprofessionals are usually called in when a child needs assistance in the classroom.
Right.
And sometimes they want to put them in a regular class setting to help them progress. Am I correct when I say
Correct.
that? And then that's where you come in. So can you explain, like, do you meet them at the door in the morning, or do you go to the classroom? Like, what exactly do you do for that student?
Great question. So particularly last school year, I had an autistic girl. She was 14. I would meet her in the morning. I would take her off her bus, walk her to class, and shadow her in each class. And she was in classes with the average Joe, and taking science courses and computer classes, and she would know to ask me for help, and I would step in if I thought she needed it. So, and then I would walk her through each class all the way up until she got back on the bus to go home.
Okay, and is that for the entire school year? Or is it
Entire
just-
school year.
It is the entire school year. So I understand that people might not understand, but they call IEPs, Individualized Educational Programming. And some of them will suggest there that a paraprofessional is needed. If a school doesn't do that, you said you worked with an outsourcing company. Is it something that a parent, if they feel their child needs this, do they go to the school and the outsource company contacts you, or can they contact the outsource company? How does that work?
The school would contact the outsource company, and then they would contact me and say, hey, we have a case in this school. There's a lot of cases, so I can kind of pick and choose where I go.
Okay.
But this year I'm in Neptune, New Jersey. Last year I was in New Egypt. But yeah, they'll come to me and tell me what they have.
Now, is it ever that when you're talking about this 14-year-old girl, do you just follow her for the year and then you might get a new student, or do you follow her as long as she's needed through her school years?
I was with her. She was in her 8th grade year last year. I followed her the entire year. She went on to high school. Unfortunately, I chose to go to Neptune for financial reasons. It's a lot closer to where I live. But yeah, I would be with her the entire year. I could have gone with her to high school though, yeah.
So then those skills for the paraprofessional come in handy when you're working with AMP.
Yes, absolutely. It's given me a lot of different resources on, how to kind of translate what I'm doing with fitness to the athletes. So,
The paraprofessional, I would say, is very similar. That's not fair to RBTs, but a lot of paraprofessionals are employed in the same way that an RBT would be. But I would say RBTs have more behavioral training in terms of ABA coursework, and they have to have hours signed off by a BCBA. But a lot of times paraprofessionals are still under the supervision of a BCBA. I don't think there's any legal requirements for schools that if you're implementing an ABA treatment program that it has to be delivered by an RBT. I think that's what the Behavior Analyst Certification Board is working towards, but right now I don't think it's a requirement. And I will say, as a school psychologist, most of the jobs that Nick gets sent on, I would imagine, are IEP driven. I've never had a case where a parent said, "Hey, if I pay myself, can they have support?" Because typically, if a child needed that support, they would be entitled to it through the school. So that would be my guess, is that his cases are IEP driven.
I believe they have to be. He would know better than me. They don't tell me that information, honestly.
Well, he said school psychologist,
Yeah.
and all I keep thinking about is Ferris Bueller. What would you do with him? Sorry. That's what goes through my head. Because I'm sitting next to you, and I'm like, school psychologist, what if I would do if I came into your office,
Right.
I mean, you're so serious right now, so it's kind of he's in his zone right now.
Well, most of what I do, I think most people, when I tell them I'm a school psychologist, say to me, "Oh, a guidance counselor?" And I'm like, "No. If it was a guidance counselor, I would have said guidance counselor." And it's nothing against guidance counselors. They do a great job. But a lot of what we do is psychological evaluations in the educational context. So really IQ testing, and we're looking for cognitive impairments, learning disabilities, things like that. If kids have other disabilities like autism or a hearing impairment, a visual impairment, something that would require them to have a specialized program, we kind of facilitate that process and determine, okay, what services do they need to be successful? What kind of classroom do they need to be in? Do we need to send them to a private school because we can't meet their needs? So it's like a combination of being a social worker in that you're case managing, and like a diagnostician in that you're kind of determining, all right, what are the barriers to this child not being able to learn in a general education setting? But yeah, it's not a lot of counseling. The job I'm at now, I probably do about 20 minutes a week of counseling.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I'm not the Dr. Phil of the school setting.
Well, that's good. Well, now, since you're not Dr. Phil, I'm going to interrupt you there because we have something to announce, and Ryche Chlanda is part of this, and we've been announcing it. And this will be the last show that we can announce it on because the event will already have happened before our next show. And that is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, October 5th through the 7th. Progstock. What is Progstock? It's North America's newest international progressive rock festival at Union County Performing Arts Center in Rahway, New Jersey. Tickets are now on sale. You can go to www.progstock.com and click on the Tickets and Donations tab. And, Rich, I have a list of the featured bands.
Nice.
Now, your very own Ryche Chlanda and Flying Dreams is one of the featured bands.
Nice.
We also have Enchant, Mystery, IQ, Jopson Plays UK, Michael Sadler, In Continuum, Tom Brislin and Friends, IZZ, Accordo de Contrary, Evership, Orpheus 9, Joe Dennison and Stratusfurious, Fernando Perdomo and Out to the Sea Band. And not only do they have featured bands, but they also have progressive coffee houses that will feature Rachel Flowers, Steve Unruh, Dark Beauty, and Robert Schindler, otherwise known as Robe One. Now, Progstock was at Rockfest, and they were selling their single-day festival passes. And if you missed it, you still can get your single-day pass for either October 5th, October 6th, or October 7th directly from the Union County Performing Arts Center online box office. And there is special pricing. For Friday, October 5th, the orchestra seats are $60 and mezzanine are $50. And on Saturday and Sunday, October 6th and 7th, the orchestra seats are $100 and the mezzanine seats are $85. Now, the best part is you can choose your favorite seat within this amazing theater at an unbelievably low price. But you know what's great about Progstock, and I think people are going to love this about you because I've heard them talking about it at Rockfest, is that...
Really?
Yes. Everyone who attends Progstock is a VIP. So everyone will enjoy great shows. You're able to meet and greet with the artists. You can mingle with the artists and the fellow fans. And you just buy a festival ticket for any seat in the theater, and basically you're all set. So... you can go to...
It's great because after every performance, there's a meet and greet.
There's a meet and greet.
So
So
that's
people
really
can
cool.
take
So
that
you
for
can meet-
photo
Nice.
opportunities, get autographs, get special merch, do all kinds of things.
Yep.
Hang out, find out what your favorite food is, maybe, something like that.
Pizza, we know that.
Pizza.
Yeah, I want a piece of this. I can't help myself. And you can visit them at the website, www.progstock.com. Click on tickets and donations, and you can join the Progstock family. We'd love to see you there, and we will be there.
Flying Dreams will be there on Saturday. We're starting the whole day off 11 o'clock in the morning. We're early risers. We're going to start the day off, play an hour from 11 to 12, and then do a meet and greet. So we'll do that. Art, you
Then
come?
brunch, no.
Oh, and we'll do brunch. Yeah, no, it's true. That's true. And that kicks off Saturday. So that's my favorite day.
It's bright and early.
Yeah, well,
You know what? You do your show, then you can meet and greet everybody, and then we could just walk around and meet everybody else,
we have a
too.
hotel room, and, so okay.
Look, see? Because then now you got Art.
No, well, the
looking. See
bands.
the eyes?
A lot of the bands are from the UK, and so they're just...
I took care of my bands,
You did take care of your band.
Yes, you did. How did
The
you take
tent
care
was-
of them? It's the question.
No, the green... Okay, well, we finished
I
this.
fed them very well.
Yes, you did.
Finish
Very-
Progstock, then I want to talk about Art for 1 second.
Well, no, at Progstock, I think if you want to stay in the area, there's still a hotel and venue information. And if you go to www.progstock.com and you want to stay in the area for all 3 days, you can do that as well. And
Well, there are people coming from all over the universe. It's just not a local,
Exactly.
like drive up. It's actually a real festival,
Right.
a 3-day festival. That's great bands, and they're from all over the world.
Well, there's limited tickets left and there's limited hotel accommodation. So if you want it, you have to act fast now. And this is the last chance you'll hear about this on the show, because by the time our next show happens, the show will be over at Progstock. So again, visit www.progstock.com and click the donations tab, and we'll see you there.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Now, Art,
Yes, sir.
you did a great job at Rockfest.
That you did.
And you really
My
did,
friend,
man.
yes, you
No,
did.
No, I played a lot of festivals. I played all over the place. That was run like any professional thing, plus even better, because the stage was great.
Well, it should. I have 20 years of experience.
No, you did. You did great. The green rooms were great. You fed the bands. There were tents. You did great, and you treated us like rock stars. You treated everyone like kings.
It was fun, man.
Absolutely. It was a lot of fun.
Yep.
And, it was probably one of your
Thank
biggest
you.
fundraisers of the year.
Yeah, actually, we did very well.
I'm excited to hear that. That's fantastic.
I mean, we did really good with the walk. I mean, it was packed. The morning there was probably 700 or 800 people there. So,
Oh, easily.
I mean, that was fantastic.
Which is good because it raises awareness and it helps.
And I wasn't
City
there
of
for
Angels.
Rockfest, but I heard, after 5 o'clock it kind of got crowded.
Yes, it
so,
did.
Yeah, it got crowded. We were there. It was beginning to fill in.
Yeah.
But
It was a lot of fun.
and Tony Luke doing a thing with Vinny Lopez and Tony Luke was great.
Yeah.
I felt like a star that day on that stage where you had Tony Luke on the left, you have Ryche, you have Vinny, and you're up there, and they were nice to let me be able
We
to
were
sing
going to
with
charge
them
you to be up there with us, but we decided not to.
Nah. I do a lot of work for you guys.
Maryann's great.
He's going to charge me. Did you hear that?
Look,
heard
I'm only
that.
kidding around.
Yeah, it's okay. But that brings us to our next sponsor.
Oh.
Yes, and that is Lifeline Chiropractic. Dr. Carol Iazzi from Cranford, New Jersey. And she states, your health is your most valuable possession. It's totally up to you to maintain and care for your body and your health. Chiropractic is the best head start you can give your body to a long and healthy life. You can visit them on the web at lifelinechiropractic.net, or you can call them at 908-653-1440.
I liked that doctor. She was on your show. Is that the one?
Yes.
That she was very cool. Chiropractic, and that's chiropractic. Excuse me, and more with the whole healthy regiment of life.
Absolutely.
And she's been a continued sponsor too. I mean, she continued a second month with us.
Oh, fantastic.
Yep.
That's good to know.
Good people.
So thank you,
So
Dr.
we
Carol Iazzi.
Dr. Carol, we actually put you in as I think a living sponsor for the run with that list.
Oh,
wow.
thank you so much. That's
I
wonderful.
haven't put those thank yous out yet, but
Oh, that's great. Hey, Art, I have,
But thank you.
I have a question for you. So how can we get these guys to get merch sales for their shirts from our listeners and stuff? Because what they're doing is great. I love all of them. What can we do to get them
well,
rocking?
when we resend the show back out with the video link and the audio link to replay this, we'll include the links back to your website.
Oh, okay, great.
You know what I mean? So people will easily be able to access that.
And
Yeah.
what is your website again?
ampfitnj.com.
And then they would click the
Click-
shop tab.
That's right. Click shop. And so
Now that
the
talks all
merchandise
about your
should-
program, right? That one particular website.
Yes.
As
Yes.
well.
Yep.
Yes.
So it's
That's-
merch.
That's
It's
how I found out about all their information.
someone had asked about volunteering. Do you have any type of opportunities for?
We actually looked into that, and because we're a nonprofit, we're not allowed to have volunteers.
Oh, because you're a for-profit.
Yeah,
right?
yep. But we've had interns. We have a student right now who's going to school to become a behavior analyst. She works with us, and we supervise her. And we're definitely open to undergraduate, graduate students, whether they're interested in exercise science or behavior analysis or psychology or even education. Nowadays we're moving towards more inclusion of students with disabilities in general education settings. So even if you're going to school to be a teacher, a general education teacher, you would want some experience and familiarity
Absolutely,
with
Definitely.
disabilities. So we're definitely open to interns from a range of disciplines.
So I know through City of Angels, we have a lot of requests for community service and, you know what I mean, to be involved or to volunteer.
And we're talking about events with City of Angels. Now, do you, for AMP, the Autism Movement Project, do you have any upcoming events? Do you throw events, or can people come in and spend a day, kind of an open house?
I think Mike Marina was talking about a telethon or something, right? That
Yeah.
we were gonna
That's what I'm kind of getting at.
yeah.
No, we don't have anything in the works. We try to show up at other people's events, though. We, as often as we can, try to get out to community events that are maybe sponsored by other agencies, nonprofits, things like that, to show support. But that's been huge for us, is linking up with other.
No, the look on your face, it's because, hello,
that?
welcome to the Health and Wellness Show. I am Maryann, your show host.
They're listening.
And you are on the air, but what I
sorry.
need you to do is to turn down your computer, first of all.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, that's okay. If you could do that. Yeah, that's so much better. Thank you. And who are we speaking to?
My name is Brett Dunbar.
Hi, Brett. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Welcome to the show. And
Apparently known.
by judging the look on all their faces, they know who you are. So the floor is
absolutely.
yours. What would you like to talk about?
So I have a few questions. So I was wondering how you develop some of these programs and exercises for the kids, and how you taper them so that way it kind of suits all the kids' needs, or to motivate them so they could better participate.
So it really depends on the individual. So, we have, take our circuit, for example, we have some weighted bands where we might be doing, some bicep curls with that, or a lateral raise, or step-ups. At a next station, we have a ladder drill. We have hurdles. We have warrior ropes that we use, medicine balls. So it's really going to depend. So, for example, if we have, an athlete doing some step-ups, if they're able to do the step-ups and it's, sufficient to their physical, if they're physically able to perform it, we'll push them appropriately. We have other athletes who are very physically fit, and they might do box jumps to that station where they're jumping up and we're, focusing more on their form and their repetitions. Some of the other guys, like we were talking about earlier, that maybe are a little hesitant to join in, we might have them do, 4 or 5 step-ups, and maybe if they need assistance, we'll, have our arms out for, some physical guidance. So it really all depends on the individual.
Oh, very good. Also, I saw that you have some people come in from, let's say, like the NFL. I saw Neil. He came in and he helped out. Do you guys have any plans for any other individuals in the future to come and help support?
We do have some plans for that. Maybe not right at the moment, because Neil is actually a good friend of mine. He plays for the New York Jets.
Okay.
He came in and was nice enough to volunteer and come play with the kids. We also had Brandon Belak, who is a part of the Houston Astros organization, come in that same day. We do keep in touch with them. Right now, they're kind of busy. They're in season, obviously, but maybe after that, we would like to have them come back in and play with the kids.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, they had as much fun as the kids did.
Yeah, it was an awesome day. The kids loved it.
I'd have to think athletes would be lining up to come. You know what I mean?
We're
that looked incredible.
Just tell us where the line is.
yeah. I mean,
I can make that line.
The line starts here.
That's one of my talents.
we're constantly at it. Direct messaging athletes, celebrities. We've emailed sports agencies. I mean, we're at it constantly. I think the problem is a lot of celebrities have tons of people contacting them to do things like that. So and like I said, people just see that we're for profit, and I think it throws up a red flag. But yeah, that's the hope, that we could get as many athletes as possible in to work out with the kids, show support for what we're doing. But it's tough to make yourself stand out to a celebrity who might have thousands and thousands of people, requesting the same thing, requesting their presence to help promote what they're doing.
That cause would just have to be close to their heart.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry.
Well, I've shared some of the pictures, some of the activities, and some of the videos you guys have posted with some of my coworkers, and then we all think that you guys are doing a great job. So wanted to call, ask a few questions, and so that we're getting with the movement.
Thanks, Brett.
Absolutely,
Brett.
Thank you
Brett.
so much for calling the show and being part of it. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah,
Of course, absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I see parallels between City of Angels. I know it's non-for-profit, but I see parallels, right, between what you guys do for the families and for the folks and what these guys do. There's parallels. Mm-hmm. So it's a good meeting. I'm glad you guys are here.
There's never I in team, the word team.
Well, I just take that.
So it's
Even
good.
some of the callers like, how do I volunteer to help? You know what I mean?
Right,
So I mean,
right.
you could have some steam behind it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think you guys would agree with me. Is we started this because we all love sports. Our favorite class in school was gym class, and we started this thinking start a little business. We like all these things. We're in the autism community already, and it'd be fun. But it's turned into a passion. And Vinny and I were talking like some of those ups and downs when we're like, how are we going to keep the doors open this week? We don't have any memberships when the sessions were not coming through, and it's the only reason that it's still going is because we all truly love going there and doing it. It's almost a stress relief for ourselves every day, going there and working out with these kids and seeing the families. And Vinny described it one day to me. He's like, it's an addiction. It really is, because we love doing it, and it's just
That's fantastic. And once again, how can people find AMP?
ampfitnj.com and click shop.
And they could click
Buy
shop.
our gear.
That's that. And where is your facility located?
It's 90 Union Ave in Manasquan at St. Dennis Elementary School.
And they could find you at Facebook at?
AMP Sports and Fitness, and on Instagram at AMP_Sports and Fitness.
And do you have a phone to give out?
Our cells are the phones, the phone numbers on the website.
There's 732-598-8159
Yes, yeah.
or 609-508-3595. And if somebody wanted to email you or to contact you, do you have an email?
It's info@ampfitnj.com.
Okay, well, I want to sit here and thank you guys for being on the show.
Thank you
Nick
for having me.
Balestrieri,
Thank you.
Vic Balestrieri, and Brandon Sierchio. Thank you
Thank you
so much.
guys.
And just so you know, City of Angels, they're conquering our addictions. If you or a loved one is struggling with addiction, help is available. Call 609-910-4942, and you can make donations at www.cityofangelsnj.org. Click the donations tab, enter any denomination, and if you put a donation for the Health and Wellness Show, we'll make you an official sponsor of the show for 30 days. So please go ahead to cityofangelsnj.org. And this also brings us to let you know that our next show is scheduled for Wednesday, October 17th, where we'll be featuring Gregory Carey. He's a New Jersey licensed acupuncturist and herbalist from the Old Bridge Acupuncture and Wellness and Health in Motion. So we get to learn all about acupuncture, and it's our first time that's on the show as well. So again, I'd like to thank everyone here at AMP for being here. Ryche, our musical director. Engineer Art, thank you so much. And for all of us here on the Health and Wellness Show on COARadio.com, we'll see you next time. Good night, everybody.